College football is almost here, so let's talk Big Ten quarterback rooms.
College football is back, and we're back on the Big Mountain with a look at the Big Ten quarterbacks.
Hey, welcome back to the Big Mountain. I am JY. This is my good friend Steve. We have an episode looking at quarterback rooms in the Big Ten. Steve, you're going to go from 18 all the way up to 1 here.
Yeah.
And, give us some reasons why you like them and why you hate them.
Love it. Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So we're starting at the bottom. A team that I've been consistent on, I think, is really going to struggle this year.
Yeah.
Maryland at number 18. They got Malik Washington, another guy, Martin, that they brought in. Last year they really struggled to replace that production that lost when Talia moved on. And it didn't work out for them this year, so they bring in Malik Washington, highly touted recruit, probably the future quarterback there, but maybe not ready to go this year to play in the Big Ten. I think they're going to struggle. I don't have much confidence at all in their quarterback room, and that's why they're number 18. Not much else to say.
Okie doke. Well, I'm not going to crap on them.
Yeah.
I'll let you get through the first couple here, because I don't want to. Yeah. You're already beating them. I won't beat a dead horse.
Northwestern is next. Preston Stone. He's just kind of a guy. We'll see how he does. It's not really that I don't like him. He may be there's just not a lot of go on. I think he started like 9 games in his career, maybe. Just been very average. So this is confidence rankings. I have him down there. Maybe he surprises me and has a great season. They had I forget the guy's name a few years ago that had an amazing season. Yeah. So maybe he goes crazy. But confidence rankings, I'm just putting him there at number 17. Don't know much. There's not much to go, and there's not a lot of reason to think that he's going to light the world on fire.
Preston Stone quote: "He's kind of a guy."
Yeah, he's kind of a guy. Yeah.
All right, let's go to 16.
Yeah. So Minnesota is next, and this is unfortunate because this is a team I do really like. This PJ Fleck coach Minnesota team. They've been kind of going through a quarterback rotation these last few years, trying to figure something out. They got Drake Lindsey. He's fine. He's okay.
Yeah.
Another guy. We'll see how he does this year. I'm not sure that he's going to be asked to do a lot. Traditionally, Minnesota has been just kind of a ground and pound team.
Right.
I've heard that they want to open it up a little bit more, so we'll see where he does. Confidence rankings, I'm just putting them there at 16.
Okie doke. I have nothing to say about them. 15, Purdue, a team that's struggling here, and we're in a coaching change. What do we got with the quarterbacks?
Yeah, another. I don't want to beat them up too much, but Purdue, I think they're going to have just another year struggling transition. It sounds like Ryan Brown is going to be the guy. I was looking up different things about their quarterback battle, trying to figure out if they've really named a starter, and it sounds like they haven't. It sounds like it's like the beat writers think he's going to be the guy.
Sure.
And so. Yeah, we'll see. Not a lot of confidence there. And I even came across one article that said Purdue may have the worst quarterback room in the entire country in FBS. So not a lot of confidence.
Well, how do you have them at 15 then?
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah. We won't go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're splitting hairs.
That's right. I understand. Okay. 14. Who do you got?
Wisconsin, I have them. They have Billy Edwards. He was the transfer from Maryland. He did okay some points last year at Maryland, but not great. And this Wisconsin defense has really struggled. They have a hard schedule this year. I don't know that he's probably just going to be okay, not great again. But I see this team struggling on offense. I mean, they start the season, I think like week 2, going on the road to Alabama. Mm-hmm. I think just more struggles for him. Just kind of not terrible, serviceable, but just right there at 14.
Okay. All right. Well. Let's get to some teams that maybe we can talk about a little bit more. We don't have these bottom feeders. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're getting there here with 13.
Yeah. So this is a team I think a lot of people are going to be surprised here. Oregon, Dante Moore was a highly touted recruit, 5-star recruit. I think the number 1 quarterback in the country in his year. Went to UCLA, didn't really do much. People were already asking, is he a flop kind of thing?
Yeah.
Comes to Oregon, sits a year last year behind Dylan Gabriel, and that's the thing is they have a big drop off, and there's no expectation for what to expect here with Dante Moore. Yeah. So could he fulfill that potential of being that 5-star guy, future NFL quarterback? Yeah, he could. Am I confident in that? No.
Right.
And that's a big reason why I'm lower on Oregon this year probably than a lot of pundits. They lost. I mean, Dylan Gabriel was almost perfect last year.
He was very good.
Yeah, really good. And you look at his numbers. They lost their 2 top receivers went to the NFL. Their third receiver, who was supposed to be their number 1 receiver this year, is injured and out for the season. So you have a young quarterback coming in. We just don't know much about him. He doesn't have the weapons like before. They're a good team. Like they're better than probably 80%, 90% of the country just on talent alone.
Yeah.
But specifically, we don't know how the quarterback play is. And we don't know what kind of weapons they're going to have at wide receiver this year. So that's why I'm kind of low in my confidence ratings.
Well, and some big shoes, right? You had Nix.
Yeah.
Then you have Gabriel. 2 stud. Top
Absolute
2,
studs.
3 in the country,
Yes.
right? In those years. And now you're going to Dante Moore. Some big shoes to fill. I'm surprised you have Oregon and Dante Moore down here in 13th. We haven't talked about Rutgers. We haven't talked about Iowa. Not really an offensive machine, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Just a little surprised, but yeah, that's okay.
So a little anecdote there. I went back and I watched our preview last year, and I went through our Oregon preview. And when I talked about Dylan Gabriel, I talked about because I want to talk about the differences a little bit, point out between Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. Those guys came in multi-year starters, had a ton of starts. And I said last year, Dylan Gabriel is going to do really well. One of the major indicators for a quarterback's future NFL success and success in their final year is how many starts they have under their belt. And that dude has the most starts of any college quarterback at that point going into last year. And he did fantastic. Where Dante Moore is like the opposite. Really talented guy, but has like no starts under his belt. There's nothing to go on.
All right, well, that is the bottom third. Let's get into your middle third here, number 12.
Yeah, so let's talk about Michigan State's quarterback room. Aiden Childs, the starter again this year. He came over from last year from Oregon State Beavers. Had a pretty good season. He was fun to watch, was exciting, but made a ton of mistakes. Every game you watched, there were 2, 3, maybe 4 throws that you're like, dude, what are you doing? And almost every one of those went to the other team.
Sure.
That's why, even though the guy's really talented and I like their coaching staff, I think they can really coach him up. I have him here at 12 just because he made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
He has really high upside.
Sure.
But is he going to make those same mistakes from last year? That's why I got him at 12, kind of sort of towards in that middle group, like you said.
I'm not going to sneeze where you kind of have him. Like, it's time to start showing up. Highly touted. You moved from Oregon State over to Michigan State, so I totally understand.
Yeah.
All right, number 11, Steve. Who we got?
So another team that people are probably surprised that I'm a little bit down on this year. The defending champion Ohio State Buckeyes.
Wow.
Their quarterback room right now, Julian Sand, 5-star quarterback, was a transfer from Alabama. He's in a quarterback battle with Holes right now.
Okay.
And Ryan Day's saying it's just a full-out battle. Everyone expected Julian Sand to grab this job, be ready to go. And I don't know if this is just coach speak and they want the guys to play it out, whatever. It's hard to tell at this point.
Yeah.
But at this point, neither guys, I don't believe they have any starts under their belts. They're just young guys who are, looking to get established. And that's going to be a big thing for Ohio State. They are super talented. We know that. Every position is loaded. But they are rebuilding both lines, offensive line, defensive line.
Yeah.
They have 2 new coordinators, the DC and the OC. And a brand new quarterback, one way or the other. So, again, very high ceiling with these two. Like Julian Sand he could go undefeated, be like a Heisman Trophy candidate, the ceiling. But we don't know what that floor is. He could really struggle, especially early in the season. So I have them in that middle group with my quarterback confidence ratings.
Yeah, wow. I guess I go off sometimes too much of like who you think they're going to be, but they haven't really shown anything yet.
Right.
In gameplay. So I get that. All right. Now we enter the top 10. Who do you have here at 10?
Yeah, so my next one, kind of similar, but this guy has more starts under him. I'm going with the UCLA quarterback room. Nico Iamaleava, or I'm leaving Tennessee and going to UCLA. Again, had a bunch of starts last year. Played pretty good in the SEC. I mean, anytime you get a full season as a starter in the SEC, it's a great experience.
Yeah.
But he was just that guy. Sometimes it felt like they were winning in spite of him instead of because of him. That could have been because he's young. Didn't do much in that playoff game. Really struggled. He's going out to UCLA. So I have a little more confidence in him than some of the guys who have like no starts under their belts.
Right.
But still, the guy. I mean, he has to come into the Big Ten and prove that he really is that guy. So again, a little higher than some of the others, but right there at 10, he's got a lot of proof. Another high ceiling guy, but right now I just don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to perform right away.
All right. I'm not going to take anything against what you're saying with these guys. I'm still kind of waiting on a few teams I thought you'd talk about by now.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to number 9 here. We're well into the top 10. We're halfway, right? 9 of 18. We're now cresting that halfway mark. What do we got?
So this next one, it's kind of a weird spot here. Michigan at number 9, okay? They have, this is such a weird situation. They have Bryce Underwood coming in. They paid a mint for this guy and recruiting 5-star, like number 1 for like the highest quarterback ranked in the last 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Just Superman, supposed to be Superman. But we don't know if he's going to be ready. They brought in Mikey Keene, a guy we're both familiar with. From Fresno as a transfer. I think he's like a 5th-year senior guy that they wanted him to come in and be that experienced guy. Well, then what happened? He missed the entire spring with an injury. Sounds like he's really done well over the summer and into the very beginnings of the fall camp. And that experience is showing he's grasped the offense. But definitely a lot lower on the talent scale than a guy like Underwood or other top level Big Ten quarterbacks. But can he come in the beginning of the season, maybe start the first 2 or 3 games, just be a stable force until Underwood is ready to go? Or are they going to throw Underwood right into the fire right away? I don't know. So not a lot there to kind of some confidence because they got some experience, they got some talent, but they're in 2 different bodies. They're not in one body yet.
Sure.
So that's why I have them there at number 9. I think there's something there to work with, so I have them ahead of some other people, but definitely not. I'm sure Michigan fans, they're like, oh, we got the number 1 recruit. We should be up in the top 5. Well, the guy hasn't proven anything yet on the field.
I would actually have them lower.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust Keene in a Big Ten environment. He will. I don't want anyone to get injured.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets playing time,
right,
and gets bounced around by some of the big boys on the D lines in the Big Ten.
Yep.
I have concern of him. He's not a big guy.
Yep.
And you don't know anything about Underwood. So you're right. I mean, the last 5 guys, you're like, well, we just don't know. They might. I think you're putting more stock on Keene than I ever would. So I'd be a little lower on them, honestly, than some of the past, 10, 11, 12, 13 schools. But I get it.
I think best case scenario for Michigan is, like I said, Keene comes in and starts the first few games.
Yeah.
There's no reason to believe, like you said, that his body could hold up to a full season as a starter in the Big Ten. But can he come in and give enough experience to just get Underwood up and going? That's the question.
All right. Who are we going to next here, Steve?
So next is, and I guarantee if Michigan fans see this, they're going to be so pissed off, and Ohio State fans.
Yeah.
I got Rutgers above both Michigan and Ohio State and Oregon.
I'm blown away.
Kaliak Manis, and he had his moments last year, again, where it looked great certain times and certain times just could not get it done, bad turnovers, whatever. But his experience, and the thing with Rutgers is he's not going to be asked to come in and throw the ball 40 times a game. They're going to run the ball, they're going to play good defense, and they just need him to come in and take care of the ball. And so I'm going with the experience factor, with him. And so I got Rutgers at number 8.
Okay. I think he's too high. I watched some games last year. Yeah. When he's good, he is good.
Exactly.
But he just doesn't. I wouldn't have the faith. I say overrated. But this is your list, so let's go to 7.
Yeah, so number 7, and this one, and maybe some people would maybe call me a hypocrite here because Damon Williams only has 1 start under his belt, but they really used him last year. Where they just kind of brought him in. He'd get a few series per game. Sure. I think they did a great job with him. Super talented guy, fantastic athlete, could be like a Heisman Trophy guy this year. And I think they've done it right. They brought him along last year, just gave him some series in garbage time, or sometimes in the middle of the game when actually things were on the line, they just bring him in for a series or 2. Not a lot of pressure on him, and then take him out and bring the starter back in. And then in the bowl game, he played the bowl game, started the bowl game, was fantastic, was phenomenal. Gave us a view of what he could be as a full-time starter. I have a lot of trust in Jed Fish and his staff to do some good quarterback coaching. I think this guy, I almost wanted to put him higher, even though he only has a little bit of experience, because I just feel like not only is he going to be good throwing the ball, dynamic athlete, I have very high hopes for Damon Williams this year.
I'm not going to knock that. I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm good with 7. Now we go to your top third. He was just out of your top third.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Number 6. Where are we going?
So Iowa at number 6, their quarterback room. Well, we've talked about this every year. Finally, they're going to get good quarterback play. Well, what did they do this year? They went out. They got I think it's Gronowski is how it's pronounced. He is a 2-time
Poor guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody says his name wrong.
Yeah. Well, 2-time FCS championship winner at South Dakota State. Was like the Walter Payton Award winner, I think 2 years in a row, which I think is like the FCS version of the Heisman or something.
Yeah,
It's like the
right. Yep.
right. So I mean, the dude accomplished so much at the FCS level, and yeah. So maybe he may not have the big arm and some of the physical talents of what you normally see. For Big Ten quarterbacks, we're going to talk about those guys, but the guy has gotten it done. He has so much experience, championship level experience, and the football they're playing at San Diego State, or South Dakota State,
right.
is they're playing good football.
Yeah.
You know, so anyways, just a really accomplished guy with a lot of experience. I really like him matched up with this Iowa team. Iowa has maybe a little tougher schedule, I think, this year than they did last year, but I think he'll do well. I have confidence in him coming in many ways. And maybe he can't throw that 40-yard out or 30-yard out, which is like the NFL throw to the sideline or whatever, but I think he has enough to win some football games, lead this Iowa team on the field, and not have just like the mental breakdowns and stuff.
I'm very surprised you have an Iowa quarterback this high.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the guy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're talking, you got all these other teams.
Yep.
Ohio State, 6 below them?
Absolutely.
Aiden Childs. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if you're right. We're viewing quarterback rooms, and I think he'll be successful in Iowa's offense, which isn't asking him to score 30 points a game or 40 points a game or anything like that. I don't know.
And the important thing too to remember is this is confidence rankings, not talent rankings.
Okay.
There are other guys on this list that are definitely probably more talented than him.
Okay.
But he's not really an Iowa quarterback yet because he hasn't played for Iowa. He is a South Dakota State quarterback, Jackrabbit, who's coming in, and the dude is a winner, a championship quarterback.
I got you. All right, top 5.
Okay, Dylan Raiola, or Nebraska with Dylan Raiola, super, super talented guy. Had ups and downs last year. Really came in, started the season fantastic. Some defensive coordinators kind of figured him out. He's getting another season under his belt. They brought in Dana Holgerson about halfway through the season last year. Really did a good job working with him, and now they have a full off season together as the offensive coordinator. I'm expecting big things. This is a guy who he's got a full season under his belt, has high level talent, and he didn't make like the big mistakes like some of those other guys we talked about.
Sure,
he had games where maybe he didn't make that game-winning touchdown pass, but he didn't throw like a whole bunch of really back-breaking interceptions.
Yeah,
it was like he wasn't making necessarily mistakes. He just couldn't quite figure out how to take that next step to take them to like a playoff team. And I think he'll make that transition this year. So number 5, I got Nebraska quarterback room led by Dylan Raiola.
I like it. It's definitely a top 5 quarterback for me. So yeah. For sure. All right, number 4.
Yeah, so number 4, I got USC here. Lincoln Riley, the quarterback whisperer. He has a really talented guy in Jaden Maeva, a guy who has talent, who has experience. Really showed out a couple years ago at UNLV. Played great, I thought, there. Last year, at first, I think maybe there was a little bit of just kind of a transition phase where he was figuring out, because he became a starter about halfway through the season. Once they realized they weren't making the playoff. And I think he did good with his opportunities.
Sure. They
would like him to take the next step. And I think this year, after getting those starts under his belt, having an offseason, coming in as the starter, and again, USC, with Lincoln Riley in general, whether he was at USC or at Oklahoma, has a great track record with quarterbacks. So I have a lot of confidence in him playing well and taking the next step, maybe to making them a playoff caliber team. We'll see.
I wish him the very best. We're fans of him, have been, again, since watching him at UNLV. I wouldn't be as confident in him as you are at USC as the starter. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right. My confidence would not be at number 4, but that's okay. Yeah. Let's get the top 3.
So Indiana, their quarterback room, Coach Kurt Cignetti, the guy is he knows how to coach. He's a great coach. Last year they brought in Curtis Rourke, who played fantastic.
Yep.
This year they bring in Mendoza from Cal. I think it's Fernando Mendoza. I can't remember his first name now. But the guy was really, really good last year at Cal. To me, he was the number one transfer quarterback. I was very happy to see Indiana get him. I think, honestly, he can be just as good as a passer as Rourke was last year.
Wow.
But can be... I don't want to say that he's like a real dual threat, but the guy just keeps plays going with his legs a little bit, his pocket presence, his athletic ability, so he can be more dynamic.
Yep.
Rourke last year played the whole season, it sounds like, with a torn ACL.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so I think they could get even better quarterback play with Mendoza than they had last year under Rourke. He's got experience, he's got talent, and he's playing in a coaching system that has bona fide credentials, in my opinion. So I love this guy. This guy, again, could be a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yep.
And I really question, could they get back to the playoff a second year row? And I still have some questions, but having Mendoza, bringing him in, makes me feel a lot better about Indiana this year.
Well, you hit my three: experience, ability, coaching.
Yeah.
He's got all three.
Right.
Totally get why you have him here at number 3. All right, we're down to 2. Penn State and Illinois. Who's 2 and 1?
So I really, really struggled with this. Everyone knows I'm a Penn State fan, okay? And I'm really high on Illinois. And I've been high on Altmaier for over a year now.
Yeah.
He was fantastic last year. They lost that game to Penn State. Drew Aller basically outplayed him, but Altmaier was going against a better defense, so it's kind of hard to say there. So both of these guys, tons of experience. I've got a lot of confidence in both of them. I'm going to go with Illinois as number 2. It's really not a knock. I had to come with a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I have equal amount of confidence in both. But I think Drew Aller is just slightly more talented, has a higher ceiling. But I love Luke Altmaier. I think he's fantastic. He did not get enough credit last year for how well he played.
Yeah.
This team was on the borderline of making a playoff.
Yeah.
And their losses, they had 3 losses, and a couple of them were just last minute things, whatever. But the dude just balled out last year. I thought maybe last year he might go to the NFL. So just another year of experience coming back. I expect a lot from him, just a special season. And again, Illinois is a team, and they have some decent wide receivers coming back.
Yeah.
But they are a team that they don't just rely on their quarterback to go out and be all world.
Sure.
They play responsible football. They run the ball, play good defense. The senior captain coming back, I think he's going to have a fantastic year. I have so much confidence in Luke Altmaier in the Illinois quarterback room.
Okay, number 1.
Yeah.
Homer it up, Steve.
Yeah, like I said, I had a lot of trouble with these. I think these 2 guys, with the experience, the talent, and the teams that they have, the offenses that they're leading, to me, these 2 are just kind of head and shoulders. For me, the tiebreaker was just, I think Aller has just maybe slightly, well, not slightly, he has more of that NFL talent, more of a little top end. But both guys last year, just really fantastic years, lots of experience. They're leading offenses. Drew Aller's coming in behind an offensive line that has basically 8 starters coming back, which is always fantastic. 8 guys who started games last year and are expected to start this year. The top running back duo. They brought in some new wide receivers for him. Yes, he's losing, his top tight end, but they have a loaded tight end room. Brought in some receivers. So in the Big Ten for me, again, I had trouble tiebreaker between Altmaier and Aller, but I went with Drew Aller as number 1. And, I think we'll see how it plays out. In the Big Ten, I expect another good year of success for him. And for both of these guys, it's going to be beyond how they do in the Big Ten. They're both going to do well. They're both going to be successful. It's, do they get their team to the playoff? And then if they do, what do they do after that?
I think you're overconfident in Aller. You're not surprised to hear me say that.
No.
I think the fact that he only threw to a tight end in their final game is more on him than it is on the wide receivers.
Yeah.
And he went to his safety blanket. I think we're talking about confidence ratings.
Yes,
I have confidence issues in him.
Yeah.
In the big games. I don't think he has the confidence. He can prove me wrong this year.
Yeah.
I may have had him as number 5 on this list, give or take. But I think you have, of your top 5, Aller, Altmaier, Mendoza, Raiola. I'm totally down with all 4 of those.
Yeah.
And I'm not hating on Maiola. I like the kid. So great. Have him in the top 5. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, like you said, the top probably from about, 7 or 8 up when you're down there with Williams. I wouldn't go all the way down to Michigan because I think 9's too high for them. But maybe Kaliakmanis from 8 up. A pretty solid, and a lot of those guys started last year. So
absolutely.
That's a lot of help, right?
And to me, I think there's kind of some groups there. The top 3 to me, I said the top 2 kind of split out.
Sure.
But I almost feel like you got to put Mendoza in that group.
Okay.
The success that he had at Cal, and I think he's going to be good this year.
Okay.
And then you have that middle group, talented guys that got some starts, got some experience, like you said. And we'll see if they can take that next step.
For sure. All right, well, thank you, Steve. Steve's also going to be doing Big Ten coaches and ranking them as well. Is that a confidence ranking in these coaches?
Absolutely. Okay. Confidence in just leading their team into another season. And then, if you got to get a win at some point, who do you want to lead your team into a season, but also when you need one win to move on to the next level.
All right, well, stick around with us here. It is August. We are ramping up for college football season 2025. We have a ton of episodes planned for you, so make sure you like this episode and subscribe if you like our content, and we'll see you next time on The Big Mountain.